Friends, Nivedita Joshi is here by taking a video on reflex action, involuntary action and voluntary actions. So, this is the topic from class 10th science, bio especially. When we talk of reflex action, so these actions are spontaneous, automatic and mechanical response to a stimulus without the will of an animal. Means it is automatic. It does not require thinking process. So because thinking will take a time, and this is it occurs in very short period of time. It's sudden. It is a sudden action and automatic, like blinking of eyes, coughing. Blinking of eyes means like there is a blow of dust so suddenly, or there is a bright light on your eyes, so you will close your eyes. Okay, coughing, yawning, sneezing. If you will touch something hot, you will withdraw your hand. If you think of some delicious food, then your mouth starts watering. So these all are reflex actions. So majorly reflex actions are controlled by spinal cord. Now question arises, why do we need reflex actions? So the receptors are produced. The receptors are present in our body. Receptors means we are talking of the our sense organs. Okay, so these are the receptors. So these receptors will receive the stimulus and transmit this information in the form of impulse to the central nervous system. So central nervous system is having the two parts, brain and the spinal cord. So majorly the reflex actions, they are just sent to the spinal cord. So whatever message is there, it will be according to that. The motor neuron will bring the information accordingly and will give the response. So the response is given on the basis of experienced stored in the brain. So this is a process. So this whole process takes some time. Means if it is means if the brain is involved. If the brain is involved, then it will take time. Okay, but there are some situations when the reaction requires immediately. The response requires immediately, and that time it is a question of survival. So in such situations, there occur the reflex action. So reflex action does not require any thinking. Now what happens in the reflection? So there is an example. There is an example and which is shown in the form of a flow chart. So we will study about the reflex arc as well in detail. So there is given the sequence of events when we touch a hot object. Hot plate means hotness. This is the stimulus, and this will be received by our hand, means skin sense organ is there. So skin will be the receptor, and this stimulus will be converted into nerve impulse, and this will be carried by the sensory neurons to the spinal cord. Spinal cord is a modular, and it will just modulate the information received, and it will be sent to the effector part through the motor neurons, and then the effector part will give the response. So this is a simple way. This is the way how the events occur in the sequence. This is the reflex arc shown by the diagram. So first, what is reflex arc? So the path taken by the nerve impulse during a reflex action or in a reflex action is called as the reflex arc. Here you can see the spinal cord is there, and sensory neuron, see the direction, is taking the impulse to the spinal cord, then it is modulating, and motor neurons are taking the message or impulse to the effector. So effector could be either muscle or the gland. You will see this in the further slides in detail. So this is a diagram for the reflex arc. Now what are the components of reflex arc? Just you have gone through the diagram. So reflex arc is having 5 parts. First one is receptor, and it is a part or organ which will receive the stimulus, and it will generate or will set up a sensory impulse. Sensory nerve fiber, this is also called as the afferent nerve fiber. So this will carry impulse from the receptor to the central nervous system, that is to the spinal cord, and spinal cord will analyze and interrupt the impulse and will generate or will set up a motor impulse, and this motor impulse will be carried by the motor nerve fiber, that is efferent nerve fiber, from the spinal cord to the specific effector. I told you already the effector will be either muscle or the glands. So this is the effector. Effector's work is to convert the impulse into response. Means the impulse here is terminated and the response occurs as per the instruction. So these are the 5 components of reflex arc. Now what is the significance of reflex action? Already I told you that this is having a survival value. Sometimes the action is required in a fraction of seconds as well, or in seconds. So first important thing is that it reduces the burden of brain and it gives the quick response. Otherwise may any stimulus give harm to our body. So these are involuntary actions, these are the actions which are performed by the animal without its will. It is without its will. So these are automatic and the animal has no choice. So these actions occur for controlling and coordinating the functioning of internal organs, and majorly these actions are controlled by the midbrain and the hindbrain. For example, salivation, heartbeat, blood pressure, this is not under our control and these are not according to our will. So these are the involuntary actions. Voluntary actions means these are the actions which are performed by animal with its will, means according to the will, and the animal is having its own choice, and these actions are controlled by cerebellum part of the hindbrain. Like walking, if we like we will walk, means this is our will. Riding a bicycle, picking up a pencil, and so on. So these all are voluntary actions. Now there is a small assignment for you.